Chris Fabian. And in preparation for our meeting on Thursday, the meeting to plan our Insight workshop next week, I wanted to give you a quick update on where you are in data creation and the exceptional progress that you've made. I'm in the portal. That's what you're looking at right now. And if you recall, the very first phase, what you've been working on so far is data creation. Before we can get to insights, we had to create a program inventory, followed by the cost allocation, the cost of every program, followed by the score of every program for a degree of relevance. And all of this information will be used in the Insight workshop, which I'll explain more about on Thursday. I want to give you a quick walkthrough, and I'll try to do this very swiftly. In terms of a program inventory, you have now, for every department who has participated, you completed a program inventory with about 250 programs. That included about 164 community-focused programs, those that serve the citizens directly. And again, every program has a name and a description that's unique to the city of Pittsburgh. And on the governance side, for those internal programs, you also have program names and program descriptions, about 85 governance programs overall. When it came to program costs, again, you've done exceptional work. What I'm showing here are all of your departments and their degree of completion. So virtually every department got to 100% cost allocation, meaning they took their line item budgets, their personnel and their non-personnel, and they allocated them to the programs they identified in the program inventory. As I scroll down further, you see a handful of departments that are ever so close, and that's okay. This will certainly work well in the Insight workshops that we're about to get into, and I'll explain more of that on Thursday. As we get all the way to the bottom, clearly there are a couple of departments who did not complete the costing task, and this is a total option. I'll explain this on Thursday. If we can get progress on the costing front, that'd be great. Here's police with $97 million more to allocate, and that would sure be awesome, and HR. But if they're not able to complete their task, it will not hold up our Insight work. Again, I just wanted to applaud all of the effort that went into getting all of these departments to 100% complete or nearly complete. As I toggle to the cost allocations that were allocated, you can see there is 137, 119, 200 and over $250 million worth of program costs allocated. We'll have plenty to work with, and you did revenue allocation as well, so we'll have cost recovery to work with. So we'll talk a little bit more about that on Thursday. As we get into program scores, this is yet one more area where every program was evaluated in two stages: a department self-assessment, where each department was able to look at their own programs and offer their own point of view, and that was followed up by a peer review process. And the amazing thing is that after you look at all of the work that went into the scoring process, you are at 100% complete for the department self-assessments, including those departments who are not quite complete with costing, and 100% complete with the peer review process. Totally amazing. This includes police, HR, and again, all the departments who participated in the priority-based budgeting initiative. So that is utterly fantastic. So all of this costing and scoring has led to a calculation that we make within the tools of it's a degree of relevance score is what it is. Based on your basic program attributes and your results, we are able to determine a quartile placement. And as I toggle over to City of Pittsburgh's spending by quartile 1 being those programs that demonstrated the highest degree of impact on the results that they were scored against. Quartile 2, tremendously relevant, just not as relevant as quartile 1, quartile 3, and quartile 4. and again, mind you, this is absent police and HR, you have a very healthy spending array. This data will be used in the Insight Workshop as every program is evaluated for a potential opportunity, whether that be resource reallocation or revenue generation. You want to take this information into account. And I mean that, and I'll explain it more tomorrow or Thursday. This is not to say that a quartile determines the fate of a program. The quartile is helpful information to take into consideration as you're considering options for the future of that program. I'll show you a couple examples. You might be wondering, what does it mean to be quartile 1? And as I click into quartile 1, I'm seeing all of the departments who had quartile 1 programs at a summary level. And I'll just pick on city planning. If I click one step further into city planning, I see all of their quartile 1 programs and the costs associated with them. I will pick on environment, sustainability, and resiliency by clicking on the gear icon. I'm going to skip over program insights because we're going to get into that next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But I will show you scores. So again, this is a quartile 1 program. It ended up with a composite score of nearly 80 points out of 100. 100 is a perfect program. You'll remember there were 2 scoring categories, basic program attributes and your overarching results. So the reason this program ends up in quartile 1 is because it scored the highest on degree of mandate, scored the highest on degree of reliance. There are no other options for citizens to turn to for this program. City of Pittsburgh provides it, and that is all. It did not score highly on cost recovery. Makes sense. It's not charging a fee for this program. Demand is increasing and population served is everybody. And as you look at the program result areas, you can see its overall high scores, not perfect scores, but high scores relative to virtually all of the outcomes that the city of Pittsburgh is in business to accomplish. And that is the point of priority-based budgeting. If you score highly relative to numerous outcomes, $1 into this program is leveraged. It achieves not just one result, but multiple results. So that dollar is spent on thriving community, equity, workforce and entrepreneurship, climate, and so on and so forth. It is a leveraged dollar overall. Whereas, I'll collapse this and just show you, for example, if I move to a quartile 4, it's not that quartile 4 programs are irrelevant, they're less relevant. It's a relative differentiation. And as I click into the first one, not to pick on anybody, but here's Bureau of Animal Care and Control. And if I picked on the spay and neuter program and looked at this particular program's scores, I can see that it scored quartile 4. And as you see the breakdown, these are always worthy to question, but no mandate associated with it. Low degree of reliance, cost recovery, demand is flat, and population served is low. And as we look at the scores against results, again, it's not scoring zeros everywhere. It has relevance. Every city program will have some degree of relevance. That's for certain. It's just a relative differentiation based on that program's impact on everything that you're striving to achieve. So we will talk a little bit more about this on Thursday, but the idea is that the scoring framework will place programs in quartiles for degree of relevance overall, and that will be useful as we get into the Insight Workshop, and we'll explain the format of that on Thursday. I want to show you one more thing, and we'll send this in the summary email. This is a glossary, a program dictionary, program manual, downloaded straight from the tools. And as I'm scrolling through the pages here in this PDF, this dynamic PDF report, this is just a summary of all the information that's in the tools. It's handy to search it. So if I was thinking about a program like code enforcement, I can start to just type in the name, and here I'm going to zero in on this program. Here is code enforcement. If I click on it, I am now in the City of Pittsburgh's program report, and I can start to see the same information that I was looking at online total cost, FTE, quartile, program description, basic program attribute scores, scores against results. And as I scroll a little bit further, I can see some explanation as to why the costs are what they are. So just a little bit of background information. I picked on code enforcement. I will go to, we were just looking at resilience. And here's environmental sustainability and resilience. So I click on that and I get the full program manual description. This will be a very handy document that we'll use again and again. We'll certainly use it for the Insight workshop, and I will include it in the email that you're about to receive. So just wanted you to be able to see what's included in this particular document right now. It's everything that has been put together from a data creation standpoint. It gets more interesting once we start to apply insights. Right now, you'll see for every program there is a not applicable, because we are about to embark on applying the data that you've just put together in the insight phase in terms of recommendations for what comes next. I am just over 10 minutes. Thank you for listening to this overview of the data that you've created. It's absolutely incredible to see the city of Pittsburgh get through program inventory, costing, with a few exceptions, scoring to 100% complete, and readying yourselves for where the rubber hits the road, applying this data next week. We applaud you, and we'll talk more about it on Thursday. Thanks very much.